Wow, look, a thingy. I wonder what happens when you click on it. Anyways, DBD, Debadula, Unalive by Sunrise, whatever you want to call it. Dead by Daylight has been around for a while. As of recording this, most players are most likely enjoying the year 7 anniversary event. It has been an extremely wild ride from the extremely unfair beginnings to the most bizarre and insane events within the first few years, with the game finally settling down and managing to find its own identity. Starting off as a fun party game with major survival horror elements, slowly turning into an asymmetrical multiplayer game with small amounts of competitiveness. If you could not tell by my wording, I have seen it all. I picked up DBD during late June 2016, and the game was originally released on Steam mid-June 2016. But this isn't a retrospective. Nah, I have better things to do, such as... Something that has always stayed from beta to present day is the mascot. Evan McMillan, aka the Trapper, has been one of my favorite killers in the game for the past 7 years, having an extremely simple power conceptually, but requiring absolute mastery of the survivor's movements to get absolute most out of his power. The Trapper is so insanely satisfying to play. Hello MMR lobbies. So let's stop stalling and finally go over the Trapper in full detail, starting with... The story of Evan begins with his father, Archie McMillan. Archie was beyond successful for his time, running the McMillan estate, which was a massive industrial piece of land well known for their mining operations. Archie led his workers with a strict yet proper order, which did nothing but skyrocket his production and also the respect of his son Evan. As the two aged, Evan began assisting his father in running the operations, following the methods of his father to the exact same way. However, Archie began to get too old, and his overall mental health would begin to deteriorate. All anyone saw out of Archie now was inheritance, all wanting to get some of that fortune when he finally passed. Evan would take none of that, and would protect his father from anyone who was threatening him, both physically and verbally. With Archie finally losing the last of his humanity, he told his son,
"Evan, blow everyone up."
Okay.
So off Evan went to seal off the mine with the workers still inside. The officers stumped to this day about the worst mass murder in modern history. The records are unknown, as Evan was never seen after these events, and his father was found trapped inside the basement of his own warehouse, starved and abandoned. Enough blabbering about its lore, let's talk about the Trapper for real now. His main ability is extremely straightforward. The Trapper has access to 2 bear traps on hand, plus an additional 6 bear traps placed around the map. The Trapper can then go and place down bear traps for survivors to step in. If a survivor steps in it, they are locked in place and need to escape the trap before the Trapper comes and gets them. These traps can however be disarmed by the survivors, requiring the Trapper to re-arm said trap or move it entirely. His perks consist of Brutal Strength, Agitation, and Unnerving Presence. Brutal Strength increases the kicking action speed, so pallets, walls, and generators. The action speed is increased by 20% at the 3rd tier. Agitation increases the movement speed and increases the overall terror radius when carrying a survivor. The speed will be at 18% at the 3rd tier, alongside an additional 12 meters to the terror radius. Finally, Unnerving Presence increases the chance of a skill check occurring by 10% when inside the terror radius of the Trapper, with the skill check size decreasing by up to 60%. Brutal Strength and Agitation are overall 2 extremely good perks, as kicking and carrying survivors is something done by pretty much every killer in Dead by Daylight. We, don't talk about Unnerving Presence. Playing as a Trapper is pretty straightforward. All you need to do is grab some traps, place them down, and... Uh-oh. Playing Trapper may be nice and all, but you need to set up your masterpiece of design just for a chance for it to work, entirely throwing away the early game and preying on a successful comeback during the late game after all 8 of the traps are placed down. Without any proper gen slowdown perks, you can be down 2 or even 3 gens by the time you're ready to begin chasing survivors. This is why the Trapper begins to suck at higher MMRs, as people are aware of the placements of your traps and understand that you are extremely weak during the early game. So great, now in order to get these survivors, I need to stop placing bear traps in front of crucial obstacles, as they are too obvious and can be easily disarmed. I need to start getting creative and begin placing the traps on the path towards the obstacles they can use. Most common loops have patches of grass that are extremely ideal for the Trapper and can cause major outplays when done right. Speaking of which, I think we need to have a bit of appreciation for these traps. It's beautiful. Okay, let's finally go over some proper builds. The first build I have is a beginner-friendly one, as the perks involved are either from the trapper himself or a general perk that everyone has access to. This build gives a healthy amount of tracking, anti-heal, movement, and gen regression in order to minimize downtime. However, if you're looking for a more standard build using any regular old perk, then I would recommend this one here. Having large amounts of gen pressure by not only having the gen regression perks, but by also having the exposed status effect on survivors to create additional pressure. A more annoying one would be the forever trapper build, where you attempt to keep all 4 survivors injured in addition with both the Trapper's iridescent add-ons. But I think that's where I'm gonna wrap things up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hey, maybe you can tell me why you enjoy Trapper so much as well in the comments below. Anyways, see you next time.